Cause I whoop your ass, that's why.
Check it out. Higher learning is about the effects of the social pressures to conform to the expectations of the groups we belong to. How without an identity, one's innocence can become ignorance. And third, how there's multiple struggles going on at the same time, and there's many levels to discrimination.
Without struggle, there is no progress.
What's it about? Navigating the entry level of adulthood with 3 stories about college life, from the black, white, and female perspective. The white girl name is Kristen, probably to indicate her innocence or purity. Whatever. She's a former rich kid. The black guy name is Malik. Clearly, with a name like that, on paper, it shows his ethnicity. He's an athletic, arrogant prima donna. Remy is the socially awkward white guy. He's weak, insecure, and feels vulnerable and victimized. But whatever. They're at a made-up college named Columbus University. Our 3 face challenges that intersect, and we examine how each character navigates through the trials, tribulations, and triumphs of defining who they are and their place in the world. Kristen deals with feminism, sexuality, and new financial aid problems. She grew up spoiled by Disney World. She's not used to not having money. But if she gets a job, she's straight. Malik has to overcome the financial pressure of not being able to afford to fail. Even if he gets a job, he would still have to continue to be a great athlete and maintain his grades.
Going to class and playing handball, you know? Talking about skiing and all. Man, they don't have the same worries I do.
Then your problem is financial, not racial, but economic. These type of problems can be worked out, Mr. Williams. Let us say, for instance, you are running a race and you suspect the opposing team has a member who is faster than yourself. What do you do then?
Run faster.
Remy is framed as a lost white guy, unaware of his own existence, slowly understanding his white privilege.
What's up, kid?
They're playing their music, man. And I'm not trying to knock or nothing, but I mean, tomorrow's the first day of class and all, man. I got physics in the morning. It's like frickin' Soul Train up there.
Look, didn't I just tell you she's not here?
Off the bat, this movie tackles feminism, race, social stereotypes boldly by way of its supporting characters. Ice Cube is Fudge. He's a super senior militant black guy. Imagine Huey Freeman from the Boondocks in college. Someone who's conscious of the conditions of black people in America. He's the counterbalance for what becomes Remy's role model, Scott Moss, the leader of the Aryan Brotherhood on campus. It's him that indoctrinated a lonely, weak, vulnerable, ostracized Remy into Aryan ideology. And it happens in such a way that the viewers wonder if these feelings was preconceived from the start. The voice of reason is given by Lawrence Fishburne as Professor Maurice Phipps. His perspective is that in this game of America, the main focus should not be on race, but information and the ability to produce and think critically. A sad truth is, the darker you are, the harder you must work. We should also mention the dollar store version of Demi Moore as Taryn. I think it's Taryn, a feminist lesbian that was a little bit predatory towards Kristen, playing mind games, trying to turn her out and whatnot. Why she just didn't hook up with other lesbians?
Oh, so you think I got it easy?
Tyra Banks made her debut in this movie and killed it. Her role as Deja was solid. The character's perspective was concise and dead on. She was out here making her parents proud.
I feel like beating people up.
So why don't you?
It's a waste of time. Instead, I fight with this, and I'm getting mine.
Preferably, this movie is for the young person that made it to the next level of understanding after high school, when all the pressures of the world began to weigh on you. Personally, most of what we've been taught from K through 12 was half-truths, excluding math. This movie makes the suggestion that we unlearn it. When you see it, understand when Malik checks his roommate early, him saying we gotta talk was a metaphor for black and white relations. Here, John Singleton was showing how easy it is to get an understanding and coexist. The room was a metaphor or analogy for the world.
That side of the room affects me too, all right? I'm trying.
Ice Cube as Fudge was the messenger of the film, making parallels to the Kilpatrick NFL situation. Fudge asking Malik if he would stand or not for the Pledge of Allegiance during a football game. I mean, this was 1995, way before that situation.
Be so embarrassing. You know, stand up, you know what I'm saying?
When Fudge and Monet, played by Regina King, went to go check that white guy, Christian, i.e. the cause of the situation, was quiet the whole time. That's when she was supposed to cry rape, so that the ends justify the means. She had them looking like they overreacted over hurt feelings, when in reality, dude was a rapist, and he technically got away with it. That's alright though, because if we play by their timeline, it's been 20 years and he finna get me too. Michael Rappaport playing the role of Remy as the typical white American was stellar. This movie low-key made it look like he had no culture or sense of belonging. He was a goofball. When you see him taking off his hat while he's studying, that was him accepting the ideology of white supremacy. When he go on that rampage, it's strikingly similar to Charles Whitman, who shot up that Texas college. Let this movie be a guide to some of my ladies. A guide. Check it out. If you go out together, make sure you stay together, especially if you're drinking. No more getting mad when you see a couple you don't agree with. Tyra's response is the most perfect perspective for that situation. Why hate on a black dude with a white girl? Don't trip. Why would you want him in the first place? Hats off to Tyra. She embodied that role, making it clear but subtle yet poignant. Women face some of the same trials of prejudice and racism as men. And instead of masculinely facing it head on, she femininely redirects her efforts to make herself better.
But you gotta stop
hats
doing
off
this
to
all
you,
the time
dear
and start
sister.
doing this.
There were a lot of double standards in this movie. For example, the black students were forced to disperse in contrast to the white students. Also, the perspective of feminism and the true motives and the targets of who it aims at.
Women's group. It's kind of a contradiction. You want a non-sexist society, but you won't give me a flyer because I'm a man? That's not cool.
The movie ends with the first two characters we're introduced to. And while you got me talking, what was the deal with Christian clutching her purse while she was in the elevator with Malik? If that wasn't about race, what about him made her feel uncomfortable? You see how when we put aside these barriers that prevent us from communicating, we grow? They didn't go into it, but did Malik's coach reduce his full scholarship to partial to humble him? Was Remy mispronouncing Malik's name on purpose, just to bother him?
Fuck him, man. You're nothing. Malik, you're nothing. You're dead. What's making?
When y'all see Regina King get treated by Ice Cube while playing Monopoly, this is a callback to the Boys in the Hood porch scene.
You know, getting a degree, you know, making that longer.
You better take your ass to the store with that.
The poster in Fridge Room is the same one from Menace. It's the first poster produced in response to the beating of Rodney King. Do your Googles on that. The poster is from before the beating and originally was designed in response to what was said by the police chief of LA at the time. He basically said casual drug users ought to be taken out and shot. And the poster is in the scene at the time to remind people of how LA's police felt about the community. Anyway, the cops from this movie kind of reminded me of the same ones from House Party. Dookie from Boys in the Hood was in this movie also.
Recognize, tell me.
Did you know Leonardo DiCaprio is who John Singleton wanted to play Remy? He also wanted Tupac to play Malik, and Sidney Poitier and Samuel L. Jackson to play the role of the Professor instead of Lawrence Fishburne. Speaking of the Professor, the student's breath must stink because the Professor kept offering them breath mints. Peppermint? One more thing about Professor Phipps and his double standard thing. He said he wasn't going to do nobody work, but he helped the white girl with her thesis and let her keep it.
political ideology.
If you wish to write about objectivity, write about its use in modern politics in your view.
Check it out. The idea that black men have that the world owes them something is not based on entitlement, but rather the acknowledgement and the respect of the ones who overcame this systematic condition that was meant to prevent them from thriving. Put some respect on how them people got here, basically. Because many black males don't make it past 21. And not for nothing, Professor Phipps is right. Once you make it out the hood, no one cares. Because making it out the hood is not the end of anyone's journey. If anything, it's a rite of passage you gotta take and make. As the scale of the world increases, you have to prove through prosperity you can survive in it. Every battle won't be physical, so we must sharpen our minds because the accumulation of information, wisdom, and understanding is power. It's great to be gifted with a skill, but without discipline, it's like talent without a work ethic. Malik needs to work on the latter. As black people, we should take it upon ourselves to be responsible for our own education. Being black does not free us from that. And being responsible won't negate from the fact that we're black. But it will give you leverage. I.e., look at Barack Obama. Or for that matter, Jay-Z. The tagline for this film is question the knowledge. With a gun, a peace sign, a swastika, a black power fist, the symbol for two women, and the male symbol. All are conflicting at once, and all are without balance, as one ideology is built on top of another. This movie was like a hardcore version of Real Life, big smile now. Or like Boys in the Hood for college years.
Remember,
look, you know what it is. Whatever you do,
no one is
choose
going
wisely.
To treat you special.
I'm
just
Fox.
Because you
this
are
is Check It Out. Like, share, subscribe. And I guess I should tell y'all to turn on that notification bell. And yo, for real, thank you for watching, man. Be cool.
I thought you was one of the smart ones, man. But you ain't. So you got to go.